Welcome to Loremen, a podcast about local legends and obscure curiosities from days of yore. I'm James Shakeshaft.
I'm Alasdair Beckett-King.
And Alasdair, we are currently in December. The most Christmassy of all the months.
Yes, it is, yeah.
And so I've got a bit of a spooky tale of lost love and scandal.
Does it involve Christmas in any way?
No!
Great, perfect. What's it called?
The Ghost of Dudley's Castle. So to business, for this this week's tale, I'm juggling.
You're juggling?
I've got a number of texts.
Oh, okay.
As in books as sources for this, not as in, like, just a thread.
SMSs?
Yes, and a couple of MMSs.
Ooh, any emojis in there?
Sadly, if there were to be any emojis, they would be the sadder end of the emoji scale, the emoji register.
Did you know? I just discovered this on Twitter because it took Twitter by storm.
Is it about Elon Musk?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's the only other thing that was happening on Twitter.
It's the other thing that everyone's talking about. Go on.
You know the sad face emoji?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what that's called?
No.
It's called frown.
Oh.
Now, I ask you this as an Englishman to Englishman. Is that emoji frowning?
No.
Now, our American listeners will be spitting out their hot coffee and their Coca-Colas with shock.
I've got a feeling they're not going to forget about it.
Hey, I'm listening to a podcast here. Because they're in the film Midnight Cowboy.
Would they be furrowing their brow and frowning?
They would be furrowing their brow and frowning. Because Americans, I just learned, and I think you might already have known this, think that the sad face where you turn the corners of your mouth down, like a sad baby, they think that is frowning. Whereas we correctly believe that frowning is when you furrow your brow into a V shape.
Yeah.
And it's not, the mouth is not involved at all. But also, like, I don't think English people do that facial expression, the sad face. Like, you don't really do that face, do you?
Only if I want to pretend that I'm not that bothered that I didn't get given any sweeties.
It's like it's a symbol, isn't it? Like, other expressions happen naturally, whereas that one has a sort of symbolic value. You do the sad face.
Yes, it is quite performative.
It's extremely performative. So take that, America.
However, in defense of America on this point,
all right,
that has made sense of the phrase "turn that frown upside down."
Turn that frown upside down. Yes, that was the first thing I said.
Because otherwise, I'm shocked. If I were to turn my frown upside down, suddenly I'm shocked.
Yes. As soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, that's what that phrase means. Yeah, the whole world's changed.
Wait a minute. Whoa. Which country's scientist did the study that it takes more muscles to frown than it does to smile?
I'm glad you asked, James. I don't think that's based on a real scientific study, and I'm not actually 100% sure it's true either. Whichever type of frown you're talking about.
When you do the forehead one, it does sort of feel like you're doing like sit-ups with your face.
My jowls are tired from trying to pull that weird sad face that I never normally do. It's exhausting.
Well, what a load of learning.
Well, yes. Yes, some of that might have been learning. So what's your story about this week?
That's a nice little bit of levity before we get into a very sad story. Although, it starts happily with a tale of young love. A boy and a girl, just an innocent boy and a girl, born in the 1500s, on the same day, almost the same hour. They grew up together. Everyone thought they were destined to be together. However, she was Queen Elizabeth I, the Virgin Queen.
Just a bit of a spoiler there.
Not an insult. And he was Robert Dudley, and he grew up into a handsome ladies' man. He married at 18 to a lady called Amy Robsart, who the eagle-eared of you will have noticed is not Queen Elizabeth.
Good listening skills.
Yeah, Bobby Duds, he had a wandering eye, and he had an eye for the ladies, and he was a charmer.
Was he a wild rover? A lot of these fellas were at that time wild rovers.
I think he was a bit of a wild rover, yes. Yeah, so he married Amy Robsart when they were 18. Queen Elizabeth, or probably princess at the time, was not happy with that. But she still held a torch for old Bobby Duds. And in fact, their ongoing friendship was kind of a bit scandalous. He was one of the many suitors that Queen Elizabeth was linked with. The Spanish ambassador.
Spanbassador.
Yes, the Spanbassador would gossip, saying that one of the reasons that...
say it in the accent, James, if you're gonna do the Spanbassador's voice, do it in a Spanish accent, please.
One of the reasons... she will provide no heir. He's spent a lot of time outside of the country, obviously.
A lot of time in France, yeah.
He's a Spanbassador. Travels the world. Basically sort of laying the blame of the fact that she's not going to give England an heir to the throne at the fact that she's, spending time with this married man, Bobby Duds, Robert Dudley.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scurrilous rumours going about the place. Amy Robsart wants to watch her back, that someone is going to poison her. Sir William Cecil, Billy Cess...
The cesspit.
The Secretary of State, he had directly told Her Majesty that he hoped God would direct her to procure a father for her children. He told the Spanbassador that he thought this intimacy between Elizabeth and Dudley would ruin the country, and he indiscreetly expressed his opinion that Dudley was thinking of killing his wife. And the wife, Amy, was said to be ill. But Cecil, Billy Cess, the cesspit, said that was not true, that she was well and taking care not to be poisoned.
Right.
Well, some people think she was actually ill, potentially ill, even with breast cancer, but that wasn't what killed her.
Right.
Because she was found on the 8th of September, 1560, at the bottom of the stairs at her house, Cumnor Place, deaded.
Wow.
She'd fallen down the stairs. Well, she was found at the bottom. All we can say for sure is she was found at the bottom of the stairs with a broken neck.
I was going to say, James, are you a local police officer investigating this? Well, bottom of the stairs seems like a clear case of falling down the stairs to me. Case closed. Case
closed. There was an inquest which did provide a verdict of misadventure or an accident.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of rumour mill going around that place. There was a big funeral for her in Oxford, almost a state-level funeral this was, because, Bobby Dudley was a member of the court. I think the King of England had been at his wedding, although at that time the King of England was 9.
Still, pretty impressive.
Probably messing around, sliding around on his knees.
I think it's impressive to be King of England at 9. That's not to be sniffed at.
That's true, yeah.
I hadn't achieved anything by 9. So that would be Edward the 6th?
Eddie 6. So yeah, she had a big funeral, almost state-level funeral. Slight wrinkle, Robert Dudley didn't go, her husband.
I believe that is what we would call orcs.
That is at minimum orcs.
That's AWKS, not ORCS.
Yes, yeah, definitely, yeah. You do have to specify that, especially in Oxford, because of token.
Token?
Because of all the token going on there.
Yeah.
That opened up the way for Bobby Duds to marry Queen Elizabeth, right?
Yeah.
Happily ever after, right?
Simple.
No. Because anyone with a passing knowledge of the history of England's kings and queens will know that Queen Elizabeth did not marry. She died the Virgin Queen. Not an insult. Actually a compliment. She still liked Duds, but there was so much scandal going on because of this moider.
Potential murder, James. Potential murder.
Potential murder. The Spanbassador, he's still sticking his oar in. Right on the 22nd of January, there was hardly a person who did not believe there had been foul play. The preachers in their pulpits spoke of it. Even old the cesspit.
Yeah.
Sir Billy Cess, sorry. He wrote a note about possible husbands of the Queen and reasons against E of L, which is the Earl of Leicester, Robert Dudley. Number 4 was, he is infamed by the death of his whiff.
Infamed by the death of his whiff.
I'm guessing he meant wife.
That's number 4. What were the first 3 reasons not to marry him, apart from possible wife murderer?
He's a bit smarmy.
2 bad vibes.
3, Bobby Duds, silly name. 4, infamed by the death of his whiff.
Yeah.
So there's never really been no one's ever really certainly said what did happen to Amy. What happened that fateful night? None of her servants were there. Well, in fact, no, all of her servants have been sent away apart from 2 who were busy playing backgammon at the time.
Right, well, they can't be expected to have heard anything over the sound of backgammon.
It's such a high-octane game.
Yeah, I think a lot of the noise of backgammon is people going, what? Isn't there? There's triangles and discs.
Huh? How do I play this? Just people shouting, what are the rules?
It's a gambling game, backgammon. I didn't realise that.
Really?
Yeah, it's played for money. So it got banned a lot. Perhaps that's why they don't teach you it when you're a kid. Maybe that's why none of us know how to play backgammon.
I played Ludo yesterday, and it genuinely took me an hour to roll a 6.
Really?
Yeah, an hour. I was furious. Everyone else was rolling 6 for fun. They were getting their guys back out of base. You know, they got sent back to base. They were coming out of base. Some of them were rolling 6s, not even getting the guys on the starting thing. Just letting.
They didn't even need the 6.
Yeah, didn't even want to use it.
Ludo's a funny one because the name just means game, doesn't it?
Does it?
Games should have names like backgammon that don't mean anything.
Yeah, that are 2 different types of bacon.
Yeah.
Now, Robert Dudley, he realises things aren't going well between him and the Queen now. He's probably not going to marry her. And so, in secret, he marries her cousin, Lettuce.
Okay.
In fact, her name is Lettuce Knowles, which sounds like how I sound off most of my emails when I ask someone something. Just let us know. Lettuce Knowles.
Lettuce Knowles. Lettuce.
Lettuce with an I.
Oh, right, yeah. It'd be ridiculous to spell it lettuce.
So, aside from marrying a woman who's named after a vegetable, things don't go great for Bobby Duds. In 1584, there is an anonymous attack on him known as Leicester's Commonwealth, which it's sort of purported to be the reporting of a conversation between a couple of English people, and it kind of starts out as a bit like that at the start, and then it just turns into a sustained attack on Bobby Duds, just like coating him off for pages and pages and pages. It says that he's a princely villain with poisonous in his train, and I think it describes him as a Machiavellian figure.
These days, that would be a meme with very poor graphic design.
And the Queen banned it. She had it fully banned. She did fall out with Bobby Duds, though, the Queen, because he'd married a cousin, Lettuce. In fact, he had to go so far as to pretend to be ill so that she would rush to his bedside and they could make up. Classic method.
Yeah.
One of his literal hunting grounds was Cornbury Park near Chalbury, and he used to go hunting in Wychwood Forest, which we've talked of before on the show.
Oh, yes, of course.
And he went hunting, as was his wont, on August the 25th, 1588, and there in them woods, in front of him, appeared the ghost of Amy Robsart.
Ooh.
And she pointed at him and said, "In 10 days thou will be with me." And he returned to the house and fell ill, actually ill this time.
Real, not fake ill. No fooling.
Not fake ill. And 10 days later, on September the 4th, 1588, he died.
Wow. Did he tell people that he had seen that vision in the woods?
I can only imagine he must have mentioned it in those 9 days.
He must have mentioned it, otherwise how could we know that?
Exactly, because the ghost didn't writing anything down.
No.
But that ghost, it did not stay silent. It haunted Cumnor Place, and it ended up having to be laid by 9 or 12 parsons in a pond.
About 9 or 12.
9 or 12 parsons to lay this ghost in a pond, which was known afterwards as Madam Dudley's Pool.
Nice.
And it has never frozen since.
Okay.
I've got an extract from Account of Cumnor Place. This is in Law of the Land, Westwood and Simpson. This comes from Alfred Bartlett's historical account of Cumnor Place. The apparition was said to appear chiefly in the form of a beautiful woman, superbly attired, and was mostly to be seen at the foot of a stone staircase in the northwestern angle of the building, where the remains of her ladyship are said to have been discovered. At length the panic became so general, and the building so dreaded, that the fear-stricken superstitious villagers had recourse to exorcism to expel the spirit. And the tradition yet remaining is that the ceremony was performed by 9 parsons from Oxford, who laid the ghost in a pond in the adjoining close, and it is said that the water never afterwards froze over the spot. So there.
Yeah, it's very spooky, yes.
Very spooky. And in fact, these 9 or 12 parsons weren't very good at laying this ghost, because she was still said to haunt the village and the house so bad that in 1810 they pulled it down because her ghost gave the locals so much trouble. And that might have been why it didn't freeze, because she was constantly in and out.
Just getting in and out, yeah.
Getting in and out like a cheeky ghost. And there was a poem written about this by a Scottish poet.
Ooh. Which Scottish poet?
Not your Rabbi Bums.
Not Rabbi Bums, unfortunately. Okay.
It was William Mickle.
William Mickle?
Yeah, Willie Mickle. So not Rabbi Bums, Willie Mickle. Here's a little stanza or verse. I don't know. Don't know about poems. The village maids, with fearful glance, avoid the ancient moss-grown wall, nor ever lead the merry dance amongst the groves of Cumnor Hall. That's a little bit of the poem.
Very, very good. Very atmospheric.
I did a little goog around Willie Mickle, and he's best remembered for the line, "There's nae luck aboot the hoose." Never heard it before, but apparently it's quite a famous line.
Yeah, we're always saying it down our way.
Oh, there's nae luck aboot the hoose.
Yep.
And her ghost is still set to be at large around Cumnor, also around Cornbury Park, where if you see her at night, it is warning that you will suddenly die in 10 days.
Yeah.
And she also knocks around the University Church of St Mary the Virgin in Oxford. I've got a little spooky eyewitness account here. So in the University Church of St Mary the Virgin, or SMV for short, her body is buried at that church, and often children talk about the strange lady in the chapel, and the parents can't always see the figure that the children are talking about.
Oh, she's a strange lady, mummy.
She's always given the same description and claim that she is wearing what seems to be Tudor dress.
I think she's wearing Tudor dress.
What kind of a posh kid knows how can describe a dress like that?
The sort of child that goes to the University Church of St Mary the Virgin, or SMV for short.
Yeah.
So there you have it. Spooky, right?
Very, very spooky, yes. And an important lesson for people who think about killing a spouse.
Yeah. What's the lesson? Don't do it?
Probably don't do it.
Best not to?
Probably best not, for the most part.
It will hamper your attempts at social climbing.
Yeah. I mean, that said, there's probably a few wives who've killed a few husbands where I sort of think fair play. But
they didn't then go on to try and marry a king.
Yeah, that's the mistake, yeah.
It's greedy. So, yeah, you ready to give us some scores then?
I'd love to score it, yes. It's a delightful tale of sadness.
As we're getting towards Christmas spooky season, I thought we'd get a bit of a classic Tudor ghost.
I don't know, why are ghosts always Tudors? Is it something about the ghost story being popular in Victorian times and they were the right period in the past for a Victorian haunting?
I think because it's Tudor / Cavalier, so it's kind of goes from that kind of 150, 200 year period.
It's all head chopping off times.
Yeah, and I think it was such a harrowing time.
It's rough era. I mean, RUFF as well as IOUGH.
Yes, that's lovely. So, score me.
All right, what's your first category?
Naming.
Named. Well,
yes.
I feel, all right. It's the names are not that great, but I feel like you jazz them up a bit. We've got the Spanbassador.
Yeah.
The Cesspit.
And Bobby Duds.
Bob Duds. Duds, D-U-D-Z.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What's your score? Lettuce Knowles.
Oh, I forgot about lettuce. All right, it's a 4. It's a 4 just basically for lettuce.
Yes.
I would have to have a heart of iceberg to give it a lower score. Iceberg is a type of lettuce.
It is. So you gave me a 4 just cause?
Yeah. Very good.
That's another lettuce pun.
Well, another kind of lettuce.
That's all I got. The rest, I'd have to slip into cabbage puns if I was to do any more.
I was moving straight for cabbages, yeah.
Come on, sweetheart. I can't refer to the sweetheart cabbage not in a Cockney accent.
You've been a little bit sexist.
So, next category, supernatural.
There's a type of lettuce called the Boston bib. Never heard of that before.
Do you think it was used as a bib, as an edible bib?
I don't know, yeah. It doesn't seem that curly, but a curly lettuce leaf could... Hold on. I'm looking at a guide to lettuce and it's just got cabbage in there. Cabbage isn't a kind of lettuce.
Wait a minute.
Is it?
Is this the biggest trick the devil ever pulled?
Trying to convince us that lettuce and cabbage were different plants.
Convincing the world he wasn't a lettuce.
Cabbage isn't a lettuce, is it?
Cabbage is a lettuce. I mean, you can see now they say it.
I'm looking at a meme and it's telling me that they're the same.
Whoa. You can't cook a lettuce.
Which is kind of like those memes where they say, look, crisis actors, and they'll just circle it'll just be 2 white men with sunglasses at different terrorist attacks. And they'll be like, it's the same guy. It's like, it's not the same guy. It's just 2 men. They're similar haircuts.
And he's on a mobile phone in a Charlie Chaplin film.
Explain that.
Oh, no.
I'm going to send you a meme, which is a picture of lettuce and a picture of cabbage, both of them circled.
Is cabbage just cooking lettuce? Wow.
A cabbage is a brassica, right? So what genus does the lettuce belong to?
I don't even know what a brassica.
Anyway, it's 4 out of 5, but mentally I've really moved on to Lettucegate.
Yeah, I think we're going to be doing the rest of the scores, but we're mostly going to be thinking about lettuce now.
Totally different family. It does not belong to the same family as cabbage.
They just look similar.
Is
it like the postman, was it? If you look at the postman of the 2 houses, was it? Oh, right, I see what's happened there. I think I had other categories, but all I can think of is vegetables now. So, supernatural.
Well, okay. It started out fairly historical, I have to say. Far more research than normal for the podcast. Well done. And then, just as I was starting to go, where's the ghosts? He went riding in his hunting grounds and he met a ghost.
He met a ghost of his dead wife.
And what a tenacious ghost she was.
Yeah.
She will not be late. Every time she sits down, there's a servant. It's like when the doorbell keeps ringing. As a servant needs spooking and she has to get back up out of the pond.
Yep.
Like, oh, blooming heck, just put my feet up for 5 minutes.
I wanted to just have a little laid down.
Just have a little lie down in a pond. It's not a minute's peace in this house.
And it still doesn't freeze to this day, so they say.
Because she's always getting in and out.
They had to demolish the house. She was so spooky.
Fill in the pond, I would say, as a starter, before you demolish the house.
That would probably make more sense, yeah. And she haunts 3 places. She's a busy ghost. So
it's for 4 out of 5 again. Just take it.
4 out of 5 for supernatural.
Move on.
Well, I did want to do scandal! !
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a bunch of them.
Huge scandals. There's the lettuces cabbage scandal, breaking scandal, they're the same thing.
Overshadowing everything.
But there's also the stairs misadventure.
The stairs misadventure.
There's the was she really the Virgin Queen scandal?
Yeah. Just the scandalous pamphlets. And that the Spanbassadors sticking his Spanish oar in. I'm not sure how a Spanish oar is different from a normal oar. Maybe it is finished off in the oven or something.
You can't use it around 1 p.m. That's a little break. It's too hot.
And I guess the scandal of the rubbish parsons, the rubbish exorcists.
Yeah, you've paid expenses for 9 parsons to come and do an exorcism. You expect to get an exorcism.
I've paid for 12, but I'm only seeing 9 here. So I don't know how you're going to tally that up, Parsons.
That's Parsons for you. They come in, they say, we'll have this done in a week. They start the job, and then you don't see them. They're on another job.
Say there's 12 of us, because we all got the same outfit on. They won't be able to count us.
Yeah.
Also, people can't really count at the moment.
It's a scandal, I tell you.
Scandals. Scandals pon scandals.
5 out of 5 for scandal. I'm outraged.
Yes.
The people must know.
About Parsons or about lettuce?
All of it, mainly lettuce. I'm taking the energy I feel from the lettuce scandal and I'm channeling it into the other scandals.
Okay.
All right, final category.
Well, it's a great name, but I don't know how it's going to score me any points. But I'm just going to go with it because it's a great name.
Okay.
The Spanbassadors Reception.
Yes. Yes. It's got a tray with hundreds of little lettuces on it.
Yeah. Yes.
Da, 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 da. Again, how do the young / foreign people who listen to this podcast understand any of it?
I don't know.
I feel like they ran that Ferrero Rocher advert for about 10 years.
So an advert, it's sort of like a meme, but for a product.
I think they should bring it back, reshoot it in glorious HD, 4K.
4K. So what it was there's a chocolate called Ferrero Rocher, which is considered quite fancy.
But it's not really fancy. I think that's the weird irony of it. Like, it's a relatively affordable chocolate.
Yeah.
That tried to give you the impression that at the ambassador's ball, it was being eaten in a massive pyramid.
You wouldn't put it in your kid's lunchbox.
No, it was an after eights quality confectionery item.
Yes. Yeah, it was after 8 adjacent.
Yeah, exactly. It's 5 out of 5 for ambassador's reception.
Thank goodness.
James, with this category, you are really spoiling me.
You are noted for your exquisite good taste.
Shame we can't get the rights to the Ferrero Rocher music to come in there.
Eccellente.
Did it say that as well?
My favourite guy. The other thing is, it's the Spambassador's reception, so there's dignitaries from all over Europe.
Oh, yeah. yeah.
And one of them was German.
There's very confused accents there. Ferrero make Kinder eggs. I mean, it's not that fancy.
Do they make Freddos?
No, Freddo are Cadbury's.
Yeah, I've got confused there because of the similarities. It's a lettuce cabbage situation.
It's a lettuce cabbage situation.
I think we might have just invented our own new phrase, like it's a Marmite thing.
Yeah.
Meaning something is either loved or hated.
Yeah.
You could say it's a lettuce cabbage thing.
Yeah, it's like comparing apples to oranges, but when you're comparing two things that are actually quite similar.
It's like comparing cabbages and lettuce, sweetheart.
People will be like, yeah, they're quite similar.
Wait a minute, are they the same thing? Is a cabbage just a cooking lettuce? So, P.S. It was called the Ghost of Dudley Castle because Cumnor Place became known as Dudley Castle because of the ghost that haunted it.
But there is a Dudley Castle in Dudley, in the West Midlands, right?
And there's a Cumnor House I think it's in South London.
Right.
It was a tough one to Google.
Well, thank you for your efforts.
If you as a listener wish to support our efforts, you can give us a 5-star rating.
Cha-ching!
Leave a review saying Eccellente. Or you can join the law folk at patreon.com/lawmenpod, where you will get access to extra episodes, a badge, and to the Law Folk Discord, where there's all sorts of chats.
I like the way you slipped into the Patreon voice there.
Access to.
Very nice. They got a Ghost of Dudley Castle.
They've got a... Right.
Yep, I've just seen it in the Metro News.
Right, well, that's next episode sorted. Is it Dudley as in Dudley?
Dudley? Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
Think of the accent potential.
Think of the accents. I might have to have a little look at that one up there, mate.
It's not the Spambassador again.
Yes, that was the Spambassador. He was mostly based in Wolverhampton.
Robert, your orders. You'll never guess what the Protestants are up to.
Oh, look at that virgin queen over there.
Well, they say virgin, but right here. All right.
Cool.
Very nice.
I'll stop recording. These slanders.